Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to another edition of Awesomecallstrading.com. I am AJ. I want to thank you for joining us today. Well, what an eventful day to say the least. But I think before I start, um, I sent out a tweet this morning, and I do want to take a moment to remember those that lost their lives in 9/11. And I am one that will never forget. And uh, just the prayers go out. So I wanted to start my webinar with that. Okay. I did my moment of silence this morning, personally, before I did anything. So, okay. Very important. Very, very, very important. All right. Well, as far as trading goes, it was a very um, fun, interesting, and it was a good day. It really was. I got bit a couple times. I did. Fran bit me. I think the market makers kind of, I don't know, I can't say they had it out for me, but they knew my number. Play bit me. I was green on play, and I pretty much gave it all back, trying to short the stock. And it was just too strong today. And it's interesting because tons, I would say 90% of the market of the analysts out there has play under $40 a share. And the play is 42 right now. So, and it's thick. So we're not going to get that today. And I kind of thought that, but it was a great call on play to go long at the open from 37.50. And the reason is for that is because play gets bought up on weakness. And I'll show you that trade. It was really wonderful. But I want to start with our number one trade in the room, Yuma. I haven't traded Yuma probably at all. It's never been on my list to trade, and I just traded it just now live in the room. For I made a total of $131.92 on the trade, and I really like. It was a really cool play, and we made it number one because Red Mountain bought pretty much all the secured debt, which is a huge thing. Back in the day, what I've learned, and a lot of you haven't been trading for as long as I have. But back in the day, there was a stock, and I forgive me if I forgot the name. The stock. I'm sure some of the senior guys in here and girls. Um, Carl Icahn went in and bought the float, and the stock was sitting at $2.80, and they were doing some sort of offering price, and he went in there and actually bought the float, like he bought it all, and that stock went to $18 a share. And from that day forward, it was a lesson learned. I watched a lot of people shorting at 5 and 6 and just getting their accounts wiped out. The stock had no mercy. It just kept going and going and going and going. And I learned from that. I learned from that quite a bit. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and take a position on Fran. Okay, so it's in the corner of my eye. I like the pop, and if I can get to 1850 to 19, I'll be happy. If it drops, my entry right now I got was 1736. So 1736. It's right now 1734 and 1738. And but let me know if you see it hit 18, traders. If I see it, that's great. But Fran, I think might have one more run into close to 1850 or more. So right now I'm green on it, but I really am looking for the bigger move. I like the curl here. So I'm going to play it out, see what I can get. Not size though. I will not size this because my stops are right here. I won't do that. That's a no-no. Okay. So Yuma, uh, they bought the secured debt on Yuma at Rocky Mountain. And so I told the traders, I want this long. But in order for you to buy this thing long, it needs to come out of the gate. There has to be a buyer that comes in at 350 to 375. I was watching the 375 area. I told everyone in the room, do not buy this unless long. Don't long it unless you see 375 pop and there's a big buyer that comes in. Very, 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 very important. And the buyer I'm looking for is a $500,000. And I was sitting on the mic, I was talking, and I'm like, okay, I feel it. And it pulled at the open, which I wanted to, around the 240 area, I think I indicated. But the buyer came in right here. You see the 370 area right there? Now look closely. Break it down. Here's 370, right? Look at the buyer. He bought right here. See the buyer? 373,000 and $500,000. That's the buyer. 370, 375. That's why I called it out. Once the buyer came in, I knew I could go to stock to 5. 5 was the target. It was such a well played, well executed trade. And this is just clear. Look, and I even said, once that buyer comes in and he's a big enough buyer, I will call it out and the stock will reward at 5. I could not have been more detailed on a small cap stock than I was on Yuma today. And I hadn't traded Yuma at all, ever. That was the first day. But because I'm seasoned for 16 years, I know exactly how to look at the play and what was going to go on with it. And because of my experience with Carl Icahn buying the float on an offering, it enabled me to give a great call to the traders that subscribe to this room and the guidance. And it's because of that. The second call we did today was Farm. I've never traded Farm. These are like new tickers that I personally have never traded in my life until today. And Yuma was one of them, and Farm was the second one. Now, what I did with Farm was I found that was pretty interesting. Was I they had an absolute disaster earnings, and I felt that the stock um, would be a nice buying opportunity, but I wanted the stock to get through 1080 first. I needed that first. So if I could get through 1050, 1080, because it was sitting at 1027 this morning. I did tell traders that, excuse me, that if the stock pulled the 950, you need to buy the stock. I love these kind of stocks where they got a $14 stock and the stock is sitting cheap at like $9, $10. I play those very well because I know exactly how the investors are going to react at the open. And I really wanted this one to go to 1150 to 12. And so it was a long and just buy on weakness. And I will show you that one on farm. So here's the gap down. You see it considerably down. You see that? But my intent was to buy the stock long. And that's what I wanted. And as you can see, if you bought at the 1050 area and added on dips, stock ran to, I have 1175, which is here, and 12 as top. So I did a very good job on that one. I was really proud of that trade. The next one, and this is the kind of trade you just take 250 shares, and you sit on it, and just be patient. And if you are, you'll get paid, and you make 500 bucks. You know, so it's kind of a nice trade there. Next one we have was Love. Love, and currently right now on Yuma, I've got traders in the room. I'm not in the trade right now, but I do think Yuma will go through 5 during the webinar and probably go to 520 and break out, which is fine. I don't think Yuma's done. It has a lot of room to go, but I'm doing the webinar, so I can't stay focused on it. But enjoy the ride through 5. The next one we did was Love, right? Love? Love was a pretty cool one. I enjoyed playing this one today, and it was on my radar. And the reason was it had earnings. It was gapping up 3, but they reaffirmed guidance, so I figured that it would probably most likely collapse and come back down to 1950 area. I did anticipate a push at the open to 23.24 a share, and once 23.24 a share came, I felt very confident I would get that pullback to about 1950. And so if you wanted it, you couldn't short the stock. I wanted you to at least long the stock. And if you see it, ding, 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 there's the pop. And there's 23, as I promised, right there. You see how it held it right there, 23. And then the final was 23.66, which is 24. And then I wanted a quick sell-off, and I wanted to dip to $19.50. I ended up around 24.40. So, but it was a really good short. I loved it. Very cool. Next stock that we did today was a stock called Restoration Hardware. This is my baby. I played this morning myself. Okay, there's a couple things you have to know about Restoration Hardware. First, you need to be a seasoned trader to understand this stock because it truly has kind of a mind of its own. So, you know what? I'm watching this Fran, and I really want to focus on the webinar, but it's still being held. It's still there. I'll put a sell order in just in case it pulls 1692, 1690. Okay, I'll just get out of it. I don't want to hold it anymore. Okay, I'm done with it. All right. So Restoration Hardware, the way this one worked, it was really nice. One thing you have to know is it's really interesting when earnings come out. They are not, they could be reaffirmed, they could be mixed, they could be, unless their guidance is so like gone. I mean, chances are the stock will just. It's one of those things. Let me try to explain to you. It's just one of those type of stocks that it gets bought up on weakness. And I know this. It's like, gosh, there's a couple stocks that get out there, like Place uh, comes to mind. Burlington, BURL comes to mind. And they just get bought up on weakness. If the stocks are down 20, 30 points or 10 points, they get zoomed out. And so I told the traders in pre-market on Restoration Hardware that this will the gap will get filled. It was down to 152, 153, and it had closed at 158. I already said it was going to go back to 160 or more. It didn't just go to 160. And I said anything at 152, 153 is a buying opportunity. All right. Because it's a slow move all the way to the upside. There is no short in this stock. You cannot short this stock. I cannot stress it enough. And like clockwork, I mean, look, I mean, it just kept running. I said 160. I deliver. You couldn't even try to sell it at 160. I mean, it just kept going higher. It was a really great play. Uh, the next one that we did today that I really liked was Roku. Now, we all know yesterday they had news with Apple coming out um, with their plan and their pricing. So naturally, Netflix and Roku they got hurt really bad yesterday and they rebounded. Now, Netflix, I did give it a call to go long at $285 and add to 283, and I was going to sell at 287 after hours or in hours, and the stock actually got to 288. I sold at 287, so I did give that trade for the entire chat room. I had 200 shares on that. I was very proud of that trade, and I knew exactly how to play it and buy the weakness. Well, Roku got hurt and below 140 from the great dark side. I mean, he took that thing down from I think 148 yesterday while the conference was going on, 149, and he walloped that down to 140. But today, okay, I felt that we would get a rebound on it. And it was gapping up. As you can see, here's the close, 143, and it gapped up to 147. So what I did is I looked at it and I said to myself, okay, you know what? I'm comfortable if it comes down to this 144 area again, and I'm a buyer because I do think it'll squeeze back up. And I actually played this, and I won on it. I played small, and I was able to make money on it. And Roku here, and I was looking at 145 area and under, bottom curl it, and then long it. I was looking for 152 on it. I'm sorry, 150 right there, and the stock ended up right here at $149.50. And even if you bought at 145 and added on the dip, you had a bottom curl, just like I said, bottom curl. There's the curl, and bam, it just all the way up. All right, so that was a nice one. I enjoyed that one, so Roku. Another one that we played today was a stock. Man, we had so many. I had Crowd, Farm. Farm already went over. Love, Play. Okay. Now, Play, I wanted to short the stock after it hit 41, 40 this morning. I thought my main focus was getting the squeeze. Okay. Now, every analyst pretty much had this to be down less than 40 because the earnings were not that good. But sometimes you get caught on these squeezes and there's nothing you can do, and you're fighting. You're fighting it. But the easiest trade this morning was this. It was just pure money, and I'll show you. It had closed at 44 yesterday, and it sank all the way to 36. Now, this was going to get a lot short covering. There was no question. I figured I'll probably take out 40 right here, $40 a share, and then probably top it right here, maybe at 41, and then just kind of slowly fade it. Well, as you can see, clearly see, they have no intentions of doing that at all. Not today. But for the long side, I really want you to see what we wrote. I mean, if you were in the room pre-market, you were done in just a few minutes. Play, gapping down 6. I like to see an opening to 39.40. If the stock at all dips to 35, go long. The stock will get bought up. Shorts should come in and pop it 2 to 3 points. I cannot be more clear on a call. I mean, just traders, you come in this room, I'm going to be exact, I'm going to be on point, I'm going to tell you, this you don't short. You cannot short the opening. You cannot short the opening. And if you think you can, you're in the wrong room. All right, I've been doing this for 16 years. I know what stocks get walloped, and this is just a pure play. And I went long. I mean, how could you not? You couldn't even short if you tried. And I made money on it. Problem is, I gave it all back. When it hit my area up here, 40, 41, I started taking it down. As soon as I started getting in, scaling in, I stepped away. It ripped on me right here. I'm like, okay, I got out. So I thought, all right, I'm going to give it another shot. Then it pulled again right here, and it popped on me right here. I got out. And I think it was one more time. I wanted to break it here, and it popped on me again. And I was like, okay, I'm done. You owned me today. Nothing I can do. Doesn't want to break. Doesn't want to break. So on play, I lost a total of $624.34. And that's what happens. I mean, when you're up 200, 300, again, I shouldn't go back in. But I really wanted the short side of it. I did. Once I started to see it coming down, I'm like, oh, I got this. I'm going to fill this gap. I'm going to double my money, and I'm going to be so happy. And once it nips me, I kind of get in this like, okay, I missed it. Be patient. Take a deep breath. You'll get it. You know what's going on. And then it came down again, and I'm like, here's the double bottom. If I could break that, so I anticipated right here, and I was up, I think $200 on this move right here. It was a 40 cent move, and I was up, and all of a sudden, right there, and I got out. I mean, thank goodness for calls like crowd. I mean, I was sitting in the room, and the great dark side got on the mic, and he said. He said, I'll just break out flag. He was calling like 71 on it. Stock hit 70.94. So that put money in my pocket. So I had to thank him for that. So that was a cool one. The next one that we did was MU was pretty basic. MU. This was like a no-brainer. I know another room, this is their biggest trade of the day. MU got an upgrade, two of them to $60 price target. So MU was in play today. For me as a day trader, I wanted to pull back to $49.75 at the open, and this is a fat finger, so you can't do anything about that. You can't buy that. That's just a market order of 20,000 shares, and you can't do anything about that. See that? Those are fat fingers. But the opening bell came, and I was looking for a pull to 49, 48, 49.75 was my call. You still see Yuma. It's 5 to 5. It's 316. No, it broke. That's why you have to have your stops fractional. Yeah. Wow. Yuma just fell off a cliff. Well, let's take a look. What happened? Yeah, it broke. Yeah, your stops should be right there. 440. If you went long, you had to have your firm stops right there. Break that flag, it's done. So glad I got out of it. I'm glad I took my money right here. I thought it looked pretty cool. That it was going towards that 5 spot and actually hit 490. And if it broke through 5, it was going to run. But you got to have your stops firm right there, 440. So your risk would have been 35 cents. Okay. So MU, We wanted $49.75 on the pullback, and we felt the stock would go all the way to $51 a share. MU. All right, so there's the 50 to 51 a share, but we wanted to buy the 49.75 area. So it was just a bottom curl and then long. All right, so all we did was to come in here and ding, 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 opening bell, and it hit 49.84. We missed it by about 10 cents. Bottom curl, bam, $51.31. And we had this going to 51 to top it off and then a short. So it was really nice. So it worked out perfection. 49, 51, short, $50. Nice trade. 4, 5, 6, 7. I could do one more. I think it was we did two of them at Netflix and TDD. Both these were really good plays today. In the chat room, a lot of traders. I love trading TDD. It's one of my favorite trades to do, and I like the range. And if you look at the range, 215 to 209, it always delivers a nice range on it. And so what I was looking for on TDD was a pop at the open to $215 a share and scale it short and take it down to 205 to 207 was my thought on TDD. And if you can look right here, I had a trader make $280 on it in the first 2 minutes of the opening bell. Stock would pop at the open to 215, watch for topping, scale in short, take it down to 206. If it pulled to 204 to 206, I wanted you to long the stock and go up. And so there's the pop to 215, then there's the short. Nice 7-point downside. And Netflix, that was pretty easy. I really wanted 283 to 285 on the pullback, and then I felt the stock would go to 290 or above. So on Netflix was right here. Gapping down 2.5. I would like to see a pop at the open to 290. If it pulls to 283 to 285 and under, play us on the long and take it back to 290. I felt that Netflix would rebound, and it did. It rebounded very nice this morning. And ding, 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 ding. Here's the opening bell. And it pulled to, I'm sorry, that's TDD. This is it right here. Ding, 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 ding. It pulled all the way down to, I think it was 284. I wanted 283 to 285, and then I wanted to ramp it up. And I played Netflix today as well, and it went to 292.50. Really some good plays. I mean, good quality calls in the morning. They were on point, and there was a whole list of them. I mean, I could go into crowd. Um, I kept screaming at the room that I wanted a stock called Tree. And Tree is a buying opportunity on weakness at 300. And I must have said it 1,000 times. Let me know when it's 300, 300, 300. And I'll show you why. And I hope you remember this if you're watching the webinar. Whenever you get Tree, and this has got a $440 price target. I mean, you see the importance of knowing. See that? 300, 299. Look at it now. It's a 20-point trade. And it's not done. It's just going to keep going. You look back at this and go, damn. I mean, you could literally have bought 340 calls down here because the market was pulling down for 2-3 days straight and it was just dragging it down. Look, all this was just buying opportunity, nothing more. And you see how it held the 299 to 3? So every day I would come in and chat and I'd say, tell me when it's 299 to 3, 299 to 3. And I got an alert when it was at 304. There's nothing I can do. I can't take a 4-point move off the bottom. But you can see that there's no stopping. You want to see this stock, where it's going? Look at this. Look at that. All right. It's got a 440 price target. They want to fill this gap here. And with interest rates coming down, and if they go to zero interest rates, this thing's going to zoop all the way back up. This is lending tree, people. I mean, they're going to get so much business, it's not even funny. So that's the importance of knowing the stock, when to buy it. All right. And that's about it. And I'll show you HLNE. This one was look, a lot of you don't trade offerings. We do. I made money on this, and I actually played it 3 times and made money each time. And I want you to see the offering. See where it closed 5 days ago? Look at that. You're buying on a discount. The offering is $60. $60 and 50 cents. 60.50. There's no other place to go but up, and it's consolidated nice. I'm out of it now. I didn't want to hold it anymore. I actually expected it to hit 59.50 to 60, and it didn't. So I got tired of holding it, and I just sold it off. But I took a profit on it, and I averaged. I think I had an average of 58.50, and then I added some at 57.81 this morning. So I had a nice average. And bam, it paid off very well. All right, and that is some of today's plays in Awesome Calls Trading. Thank you so much. Yuma was a beautiful trade today. Again, it's all about finding that buyer, knowing where the stock's going to go, why it's going to go, reading the news, how important. The experience I got on Carl Icahn, how he bought a float, made me make the decision. I know what to do on this trade. I know how it's going to react, and this is how I'm going to sell it to the traders in the room. And it did exactly verbatim. And again, it was the key buyer at $3.75. Okay, so thank you so much, and thank you for being a part of our great room today. Got a lot of signups. Click here, boom, you're in, and we are good to go. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.